Honorable Ministers of Education and Women, Children and Social Protection, Rugby legend, King of Rugby Sevens, Vasile Sarabi, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I was part of this smaller event September last year. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Biman Prasad. I've known him for many years. He's a man of a lot of compassion. Did many things over the years, so I'm not surprised that he is behind this very important Kimaya Foundation, and now setting up of the Brighter Minds Trust. When I started my journey in the university many years ago, and the first course, I was enrolled in a course program, what they call it at that time, BA GCED. And GCED was Graduate Certificate in Education. And the first course that I did was a course called Human Development. And it was titled From Conception to Death. And I still remember this Swiss psychologist, and Dr. Crooks would be very familiar with it. Piaget's theory of human development, the 4 stages of child development, 0 to, I think it was 11. And while I was doing the course, when I completed the course, I realized that cognitively, I may not be that good, or that many children coming out from the village that I came from a rice farming community, where we started school a bit late. We didn't know there was a thing called preschool or kindergarten. And so today, when we look at the journey, and I try and compose everything that we've had today, some very excellent points raised by all the panelists, I realize how important education is, and particularly preschool education, very early stages of child development. And from an economist point of view, and from all the studies that we've seen over the years that have looked at investment in early childhood development, preschool, the returns to that investment is huge. You know, if you quantify those in terms of dollars and cents, and what that early child development intervention can lead to in terms of all the values that you talked about today, whether it's compassion, whether it's confidence. I think the only cognitive skill I had was too much compassion. And sometimes that's not very good for the politicians. But what it shows is that that investment is very important. I have a 3-year-old Yada at home, and we started sending him to school, preschool. This is in Botswana. And my other's mother took him, Lucila took him to school on the first day. And then the second day, we had to ask one of my cousins who's driving a taxi that you pick him up and take him and see how he connects with the students today, and whether he is able to settle himself with all the others. And every day when I go home, and that week I tried to get home early to see how he was doing. There was a complete change in his behavior in just about 3 or 4 days. And this interaction, this connection that you talked about, and this whole idea of bringing the children together and moving them beyond the confines of how you organize them at home, in their own spaces, whether it's from one room to the other, kitchen, where they sit and have their lunch and breakfast. All that space is suddenly created in a different environment. And I think this program, Brighter Minds program, and this whole idea of promoting cognitive development at an early stage of our children is absolutely critical. What I want to also add, and I share everything that the Honourable Minister for Education said, and the government, we as a coalition government, we recognize very clearly what exists in the country at the moment with respect to education and health. And Mark was talking about health. It's the same story here, Mark. We just, the Honourable Prime Minister launched a report that we commissioned from the Ministry of Finance, where we asked the World Bank to review the health sector and what happened over the years. So the World Bank went and looked at the whole development from the 1970s. And what we found in that report is that our public health, our health behavior, our behavior with respect to diet, in the 1970s, in the 80s, in the 90s, was better than what we have. So we ended up, over the last 20 years, doing exactly what happened in the UK, or in your country that we talked about. We were spending more, we were having more people in the hospitals. Therefore, because they get all these NCDs, the incidence of NCDs in Fiji very high. And increasingly over the years, the funding for public health continued to decline, and the requirement for funding by government for tertiary care continued to go up. And today we have a very difficult situation. So we are now, and it's a long term, we're not looking at the next election. We are going to put in policies, programs to ensure that we simultaneously, while we are developing our tertiary health sector, build the primary health sector, or primary sector of our health in a very, very determined and planned manner. And government is putting a lot of resources. With respect to education, and as the Honourable Minister for Education said very clearly, government is fully committed to providing appropriate funding. We've had this Back to School Support program, one of the flagship initiatives of the coalition government, where we put in almost close to about $150 million in that program in the last 3 years, where we provide this support for students right from preschool to high school. And we are working very hard to ensure that we put additional resources in our preschool, in our early childhood education. The program itself, I think, as one of the panelists said. And I'm sure when you come back after 5 years, you will find that this program is going to have taken off in a big way. So, having said all that, I want to again congratulate Mr. Biman Prasad and everyone behind this initiative. And I'm very pleased to be here with all of you. And on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister, I told him last night, I met him at the Australia Day, and I said, I'm going to be at the launch of the Kimaya Foundation and the Kimaya Brighter Minds Trust, launching. And I said, I'll see you in Nadi, because he's going to be in Nadi today as well. So it is my honor and pleasure on behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister and the coalition government and the two ministers who are here to launch this very, very important foundation and the Brighter Minds Trust. And once again, I want to congratulate Mr. Biman Prasad for his leadership, for his foresight, and for his understanding of this very important initiative that would go a long way in developing our children. And I want to thank all of you, particularly those who come from overseas, far away, to be part of this. And I think Dr. Cook's work is cut out. You'll probably end up with a paper out of this very soon, published in a journal. But I want to urge all of you present here, to give your full support to the foundation, to the trust, so that we are able to take this very innovative and a very compassionate program that will have lasting impact on the development of our children and our next generation. So once again, thank you very much, and please have a great weekend.